Have you ever wondered how your childhood shapes the person you are today? Especially if your early life was marked by emotional neglect or trauma. You might feel like you are still carrying the shadows of the past inside you. The truth is, many people live with this invisible burden without fully realizing how much it influences their thoughts, emotions, and behavior. So, let's explore how different forms of childhood trauma can influence your adult personality. First, you may become a perfectionist. Do you constantly strive for perfection, setting impossible standards for yourself? And does that drive for perfection often leave you feel anxious, stressed, and burdened out? If that resonates with you, childhood trauma might be a root cause. According to a recent study in the Journal of Research in Personality, a strong link exists between perfectionism and early life trauma. This connection often brings in homes where parents imposed relentless standards, demanding straight A's, hours of study, and dismissing your dreams if they didn't align with your expectations. Maybe you were told that your room was never tidy enough, you were never done quite right, or that your passions were not valuable unless they were practical. Over time, this relentless pressure creates an internal narrative. I am only worthy if I am flawless. As an adult, this mindset can cause chronic dissatisfaction, emotional exhaustion, and even depression because nothing ever feels good enough. Secondly, you may develop an eating disorder. Sometimes emotional trauma manifests through physical behaviors, especially in the way we eat. Research shows strong correlation between childhood emotional trauma and binge eating, which is often called as emotional eating. This can emerge if your caregivers overemphasized appearance or body image, or if food became a rare source of comfort and control. In a world where everything else felt chaotic, controlling your food intake might have felt like the one thing that gave you power. On the other hand, emotional eating might have become your go to coping mechanism, something to turn when life felt overwhelming or hopeless. But while food can temporarily soothe the pain, these patterns often deepen the emotional wounds they aim to hide. Eating disorders, though misunderstood, are often not about vanity, they are about unresolved trauma and a desperate attempt to feel safe or in control. Third, you might exhibit childlike behavior. Do you ever notice yourself acting younger than your age, especially in stressful situations? Trauma can emotionally freeze parts of your development, leaving your inner child stuck in time. Feelings like shame, guilt, fear, or helplessness can linger beneath the surface, surfacing when life gets hard. This can lead to what psychologists call age regression. In response to stressful event, you might unconsciously slip into childlike behaviors, talking in a baby voice, throwing tantrums, cuddling stuff, or seeking comforts in rituals from your past. While occasional regression can be a normal coping mechanism, persistent age regression may point to deeper unresolved issues or trauma-related disorders. Unfortunately, people might misinterpret this behavior as immaturity, but it's important to recognize it as a protective response. Your psyche's way of retreating to a time when you felt safer. Even that safety was just an illusion. With time and support, healing is possible. Fourth, you may develop an insecure attachment style. Perhaps one of the most profound ways childhood trauma shapes us is through our attachment style, how we form bonds and relationships as adults. According to the attachment theory, the way your caregiver responded to your needs as a child helped wire your brain for relationships later in life. If your parents were attentive, loving, and emotionally available, you likely develop a secure attachment. You believe you are lovable and that others can be trusted. But if you were neglected, criticized, or emotionally abandoned, you may have developed an insecure attachment style. You crave connections but constantly fear rejections. Deep down, you feel unworthy of love. On the outside, you appear strong and independent. You avoid intimacy, don't share emotional feelings, and feel safer alone. Underneath, that independence is a deep mistrust of others, often born from being hurt or let down repeatedly. If your caregivers were unpredictable, loving one moment and cruel the next, you may now fear closeness while also longing for it. You may not know how to trust or even how to trust yourself. Your self-image feel unstable, shifting with your relationships and emotions. These patterns, while painful, are not life sentences. Recognizing them is the first step towards unlearning the old scripts and writing new, which are healthier ones. So, how has your past shaped who you are today? And more importantly, how are you navigating it? These examples, which I have mentioned, are only scratching the surface. Every person's story is unique, yet many of us carry the weight of similar scars. If you feel comfortable, I invite you to share your experiences in the comments below. You never know who might find strength in your story. If this video resonated with you, consider sharing it with someone who needs to hear it. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell for more insights on healing, growth, and understanding the human mind.